town of Mesilla is one of those places you immediately like. It's small, comfortable for visitors of all ages, and charming. There are interesting shops to visit, interesting artwork to buy, some surprisingly good restaurants, which I've personally enjoyed, and interesting people to talk to as well, like our walking tour guide.
Welcome to Mesilla. Mesilla is in the most southern part of New Mexico. It is where chili grows. Mesilla is a little village of 2,000 people. It started with 2,000 people, so we haven't changed much in 150 years.
It was the Spaniards traveling to Santa Fe that first put Mesilla on the map, and of course, one of the first things they did was build a church.
San Albino is not named after the patron saint of albinos, okay? It is set out for Saint Albin. It was started on his saint's day, and he is the patron saint of water and teenagers. Very important to us here. If you notice, San Albino doesn't look like the other buildings around Mesilla. It is because it is of French architecture.
And another of the great ironies of old Mesilla was that the iconic church was right next door to the not-so-iconic brothel.
I can see how close the brothel was to the church. That would almost be scary close if you're coming down to conduct a little business, I guess.
Well, the church helps us with our morality. So if you can walk past the priest and still go to the bar or the brothel, you've made it. So,
are these windows bigger than a lot of the windows in town, especially a building this old?
they are original, and yes, there's many more of them because this was our brothel. And in those days, you would pay taxes on the amount of windows that you had. So they were showing off. We can afford the taxes, we can afford the windows. This building was, at the very same time as the brothel, the Mexican Embassy. One-stop shopping.
I love this gate across the street.
Well, this gate belonged to the house where my good friend Josefina Gamboa Beal Emerson lived. It is now a restaurant and a bed and breakfast.
How old is this?
This actually was built in the late 1960s.
Really?
It is not a historic property, but like I say, every painter, every artist, every photographer has photographed this beautiful old gate. And it looks like the gates in Mexico. This is how you would be greeted in Mexico. So we have to remember that this was all Mexico at one point.
Traditions hold strong in Mesilla. The Day of the Dead is one of the biggest celebrations, so during our walking tour, Priscilliana took us to the shrine of a friend.
Behind here we have a beautiful little shrine. It's left up all year for Mary Taylor, a former historian and mother of 9 children here in Mesilla.
So everybody can celebrate a great life.
Everybody can celebrate her wonderful life. In Mesilla, one of our best festivals is Day of the Dead.
Now, why does this building look so much different than the rest here in the plaza?
Well, underneath this, it's all the same. It's all adobe. But this one's covered in tin.
Really?
It was the siding, very popular in the 1850s. It was ordered through the Sears catalog, and it came in 100 pieces on a wagon train.
Wow. Then where does Billy the Kid fit in? Because he had a kind of an influence here, or at least a role.
Well, Billy the Kid was about 20 years old when he was held for trial here. Mesilla was the county seat. It was the only courthouse around at the time. So the judge came, he was tried, and he was sent to be hung in Lincoln County. But Billy the Kid was rumored to have left Mesilla by the help of señoritas.
Billy the Kid was later caught and killed, but he still holds sway over Mesilla, or at least the legend does, with lots of reminders that Mesilla was once the wildest of the old Wild West, but it has quietly survived and is now a must-visit on a trip to southeastern New Mexico.
I just peeked in there. Is this a home now?
It is a private home. They're doing a
You should
beautiful
have told me
restoration.
that.
Sorry.
Dan, the window peeker.